been their identity the entire tournament, which is skirmishes, right? Try and get that Xin Zhao Brom combo out on the map and go from there.
We're gonna have to we're gonna have to request to have that song just put on. Maybe if we get a lull state or something like that, we can just request the music. It's the first of the best of fives of this stage of Worlds. Okay, let's maybe go with that. Thank you for look
at this damage though.
As Faker's down to about 100 health. A couple more autos will need to come through.
False prio. Based on the knowledge that they have, is Chovy.
Yeah, Shockwave going to come through. There's the hook perfectly lined up as Chovy just didn't want to flash. Eventually he will, but they also have to invest. Morgan's going to have to play very defensively here. We'll see whether he does actually blade surge forward or look for some of this CS as Carrier now searching for the hook, finds the play first. End of the line comes on in, and that is a very dead Aurelia and first blood to T1.
A bit of that. Well, this streak is going to go over for free because there's a little bit of a hole in T1's vision, and Chovy was seeing the better.
You want to be technically correct. As Gumayusi looking for Vista here underneath the turret. The flash gets him out of the way of the hook as Vista's looking to keep himself alive. Ona now in trouble as Deft turns up once again. He gets exhausted immediately. Vista, what the heck was that? Unbelievable play from the Hanwha Life support, and they take away T1's jungler. Chovy now looking to try and get some more done, but Canna is going to turn up once again. Decent little paddle star, and they get the flash out for the Shockwave.
And that's a good sign for a best of 5 like this. You're not figuring it out on the fly. You already know. Now they're going to look for some extra gold here with this second Herald.
Yep. Turret going to go down low. Shockwave not quite able to find Chovy there as the ulti comes through. Faker so incredibly low after the bullet time, but isn't going to fall down. Doesn't have teleport, so he's going to be away for a little while as Chovy as well, under half HP. And T1 wrestled out of the river as there's the Moonlight Vigil to come down. Morgan could be in trouble here. Flashes the hook, not quite long enough. Great double stun there from Morgan, but they are still going to be able to get pressure onto this turret. T1 wanting to grab that is now Vista looking to come round once again. There's the ulti to come through for Morgan. Only one person can take that lantern, and now Canna could be in trouble. He's down so low and trying to get the damage out as Deft finishes him off in the end. Morgan likely to fall as well. It's 2 for 1 so far for T1, and Hanwha Life Esports now forced to leave. Flash comes out from Chovy. That's one that he stole away as T1 are on the wrong side of this Drake, but now with the man advantage.
It's not over just yet. They keep looking.
I mean, this is so risky for Hanwha Life Esports here.
Ona parkouring his way in. There's the Shockwave ball delivery system here, and Vista, he's going to go golden for a little while. Stands beside Willa, keeps himself alive for the moment. As Ona, below half health, great hook to come through from Carrier, but there is another stopwatch from this team. Of course, Willa, no way out. Wasn't going to invest the flash as it turns out.
Everyone else is blocking, and they're coming back in.
Does Deft have ultimate? No, he doesn't. As Ona could be in trouble here. One last auto. It's actually going to be the Zoe that picks it up with a bubble through the wall.
Making the better moves, right? They're earlier to the objectives. I think the shot calling is a little bit crisper. But in terms of raw mechanics, Hanwha Life is showing why they're in this quarterfinal.
Yep, Vista caught in amongst a whole lot of people as the Shockwave finds absolutely no one still. Carrier locks down that kill. In the meantime, Canna takes the turret on the bottom side, and T1 are adding winning to their winning.
And the Aurelia, and of course the Braum, in this very rare circumstance where you can actually pull it off, is to actually pull people out of their engages as Deft might be in trouble.
Yeah, kind of looking for the dive right underneath this turret. He had the shield bow, and he's absolutely fine. Just walks up.
Yeah,
and
right, you saw it a little bit in one of the earlier mid-game fights where they wanted to re-engage, but weren't able to. As they might go in here.
Faker looking for the Shockwave, finds it onto Willa there pretty comfortably as the ulti comes through to keep the Xin Zhao alive, but it's not going to work for long enough. The Gore Drinker certainly working out quite nicely, but it didn't change the fate of the Xin Zhao as Ona was looking to take
Aurelia can't reliably match someone inside. A lot of the value does get taken away as Shockwave.
Chovy just walked into the Shockwave. He does use his Zhonyas. Try and keep himself up, and now will flash away, but Willa is going to pay for his sins. The ulti comes down, and it is not going to save the Xin Zhao. Ona not done just yet, as Everfrost looks to try and deny T1, but massively ahead.
Yeah, they're already so far ahead. You don't have a jungler anymore as Hanwha Life Esports. 100% you can take this. Hanwha Life, this is a mistake to challenge.
Yeah, well, Carrier finds yet another hook, but there's no backup, as now Morgan looking to get in there, does dive into the back of the pit, as Hanwha looking for more. The Baron does go over to T1, but can they keep themselves alive? Will any of these Barons make it out of the pit as Guma is about to say yes? The bullet time not finding the value they were looking for, but the bubble will now connect. And Chovy's going to find the paddle star there as well. So Owner has been taken down. 2 Barons remain on the side of T1, and it looks like 2 Barons will survive. Hanwha now trying to protect that one ward that they have, but the orb sitting right in that brush. Canna gets on over. Remember, Faker's Shockwave, it is right there. It is ready to go as Owner taken down to half health. Hanwha still with a fair bit of fight left in them. Chovy looking for a bubble, doesn't quite find it there. As the teleport comes in, it's Faker that locks down the Drake as Will is trying to keep himself alive once again. Flashes out, and he is going to survive for the moment, but T1 looking to try and race for this inhibitor turret in the mid lane, and they will have inside track to get themselves there.
Look at the teleport top here from Kana too. He's going to go for this inhibitor turret. You've got 2 problems at once here as Hanwha Life Esports. Morgan just used his teleport to come into that fight so late. Then they had to flash out. Willer's flashless. I mean, T1 are looking to actually start finishing this game shortly here. You make any mistakes as Hanwha, the game ends.
Well, now Morgan trying to go in. Actually, just a bit of a drive-by there, as when that's the case. Owner's even going to steal away this red buff. The entire jungle on both sides of the map belongs to T1. Is okay, Owner going to take a little bit of a nap here, but he's just so tanky. Willer can't say the same thing as Morgan looks for some stuns, but he's not going to quite find them. The Crescent Guard looks to try and keep Willer alive, but it isn't going to be enough as Canna's going to get knocked up, but that is just disengaged from Hanwha Life. Another dive forward as it is going to be...
That's been pushed into the turret, getting damage, giving up 3 minions as well.
I mean, this is a fight that T1 just avoided by
until about 25 is when they theoretically should have been strong. That time has gone. T1 in so much control as Hanwha trying to do the very best to defend their base, but 2 inhibitors go down. 3-man Shockwave just found out of nowhere from Faker as Willer. The only way that he can go is forward. He is Xin Zhao. Kid has not changed, and T1, they're looking to end it all right here, right now, as Morgan very low as well, trying to defend that one Nexus turret. Visca being a valiant defender, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Nexus turrets just melt at the hands of Gumayusi's Crescendum. The Nexus going to follow suit, and T1, all business in game 1, destroy Hanwha Life Esports.
Don't get ahead early. It's way worse than last game. You're playing into Gwen with a bunch of melees, right? And then you can't have the Varus, which is something.
Without Aphelios almost every single time.
It's dangerous, though, as we've got a back coming through from Morgan, maybe thinking about getting himself an item. A teleport coming on down from T1 as Faker's going to get hooked, has the ultimate, keeps himself alive. Chains of Corruption come out as well, though, as Deft looking for some arrows. Shelly getting in amongst it as well, as she eventually decides that she wants to get out, as Chovy bullying Gumayusi away from this pit, and T1, they don't want the fight.
T1, I mean, they really just got completely out-rotated here. Morgan's on the backside, by the way, and is going to be able to catch this wave, but hit point advantage goes to Hanwha Life Esports. They've got long range engaged too. You have to respect this as T1. This could be a huge mistake. There's a teleport coming through top side here.
That's the second teleport to come on in. Faker, no flash available, but now has full health once again. As Morgan, he can blast cone over, but the information is now there from T1. They know that this isn't going to work out as Owner is going to steal away the Rift Herald. Now Morgan diving on in immediately. He gets exhausted. Canna looking for Willer on the backline, but has he overextended? It's a question. Morgan staying alive for so long, and first blood goes to Faker. Chovy gets smashed into the wall at the back of Shelly's pit, but does make his way out. Gumayusi trying to get him as they're not going to fall for that funny business. It's a double kill for Faker, and T1 a huge lead in the early game.
Something that we've seen Hanwha do a lot domestically, right? Like, this is one of the reasons why this team has faltered so much in summer, and
it was a desperate attempt. It was a desperate attempt, and I appreciate you taking it.
I mean, the other thing is, like, right now is Chovy, watch him try to find any damage, and it's just not realistic.
Well, the rest of the team coming on over. Shirley's down very, very low as it's the flash on forward to get things started, but Willer just throws his life away in the end. Canna, yep, pretty immune right now as Vista looking to try and get his way out. Oh, not quite able to land the passive just there as the piercing arrow does a lot of work. Canna eventually, with the help of a few dots, is able to take down the Nautilus as over the wall goes Chovy and into the death chamber with him as Morgan as well trying to walk his way out. T1
instead, you force them to opt into a fight that they don't want to take, and you dig yourself deeper and deeper into the hole.
Oop, Canna decides that he doesn't actually want to be in the river at that point in time, and I don't blame him. It's Chovy and Deft over to the side. Owner takes a bit of damage, but he's already very tanky right now on this Poppy.
You can't all-in Faker, because Faker's ult's up. You can't all-in Gumusi because Keria is with him non-stop. You need everybody to go in all at once.
They're still trying to find something, though, as Canna dives on forward. It is going to be T1 locking down the Drake, but can they win the fight? And I think that the answer to that is yes, as Chovy able to get back over the wall as the Poppy, very, very low, but is going to survive. We have a Mountain Soul this game. Not what this represents, right? This represents T1 tidying up their gameplay so much more, as this was a 5-game series, as now Canna looking to try and get more done. Gumushi, a massive ulti in the backline. The Varus just dies. I didn't even see what he got hit by. It just gets completely obliterated.
Baby coming through.
It was just needled. He was just needled, as Canna is just so extraordinarily strong right now. Willa trying to get away, but he's not going to be able to. Gets the thumbs up, and Canna is indeed unstoppable.
And this is giving me flashbacks to what we saw, as he might still get popped here.
Well, we'll see how immune he's going to be. We're going to try and cut down the Crocodile. It's going to be difficult, but does still have his circle available. Yeah, exactly. T1, they can just go over and grab it. And yes, congratulations, Hanwha Life Esports. You do have yourselves a Baron. But Faker is going to come through and try and do a 1v2. Ults himself. Gets a bit of extra damage down there, but Faker should still die, but no. Able to walk his way out, and yep, that's the last tick, calculated by the man in the mid lane. Yeah, it's really, really rough. They're going to fight for this blue buff. It is going to be secured there by Chovy, so at least there's that. And now Owner actually in a bit of trouble. He's going to flash his way out. Faker there to follow up, though, as he dives on forward with that Ring of Frost. Still has the ultimate. Also has a Zhonya's as well, as Faker actually going to fall here. He'd already used that Frozen Tomb, so unfortunately no option to have that one. It's a 1-for-1 thus far. Still trading evenly here on Hanwha Life Esports side. We were saying that...
Much more common. It was much more possible within the state of the game, but team play has become so much more important.
Well, looking for a bit of a fight here. Depth Charge comes down from Vistor. He's still very healthy as well. It comes through with the ulti. Okay, ult down now for Owner, so no one going to be disengaged just yet, but they've barely gotten through the health bars as Morgan comes around for a big flank. But the rest of his team are like, well, we're not really sure about this anymore.
Yeah, we can't rescue you, and Morgan has no teleport here, so he's going to have to just kind of hover around and wait for the sandwich to come through. But there's so much vision here for T1 that Hanwha Life Esports had to push through.
And it's going to rush it down. Morgan can dive on over the side. Steadfast presence is going to be there, and the Poppy locks down the Baron. Now can they win the fight, though, as they immediately just run over Chovy. And with Chovy dead, there is nothing left. It's a triple kill for Gumushi, and Dep finds himself alone. I think this is the end for Hanwha Life Esports in game number 2. As Deft not going to be able to cleanse again, and that's going to be the ace given over. T1 storm down the mid lane in an extraordinarily dominant first 2 games. They'll bring themselves to match point.
They've neutered Deft in the early game. They prevented Chovy from getting a lead back-to-back, game after game here. Chovy's not able to carry. He's not able to pop off. Morgan not getting ahead. And these early game, extremely tempo-based compositions that we're seeing Hanwha Life Esports try to Esports get a lead early. You know, this is one of those things you can kind of shore up your late game team fights with if it's not the one-sided game we saw in game 2. Another pick that I would have liked here would have been the Gangplank as well. I think it could have been very strong here into the Renekton. You play it slow, you have a lot of global presence, and then later on you have extra scaling with the Sephelios, but by basically playing 2 different versions. Now you have a slight advantage, a lot of extra resistances here going into that upcoming fight. Plus, you can, if later on the game,
things like that.
Free Herald here.
Yeah, it's going to be the first time that Hanwha have got themselves a Rift Herald, so no fight.
But look at how
where T1 really likes it, and instead they're just going to take a couple of plates on the bottom side. As Willa almost ignores the eye because he's not used to picking it up.
This is
not a thing that he's had to worry about.
This is how you lose a Herald.
You can just shove with a Thalios when he has Crescendum, and you've already won the trade.
Yeah, no, if you get more than 2 plates, you're fine.
Faker.
As Faker almost solo killed by Chovy. Chovy gets a thumbs up for it. Very, very nice, as that's a Gravitum stun that's going to land. The hook is going to go completely wide, though. That was an odd maneuver. Keria gets stunned up. And now Willa's making his way in, but Owner in perfect position. Do you want to fight a low-health Olaf, though, is the question? And Owner's answer is absolutely. Yes, I would very much like to do that as Stand Beside Me comes on in, and Owner's going to get exhausted. That's the flash forward. Owner thought he'd done the calculation, but it doesn't quite work. Everyone's health bar is extraordinarily low, though, and T1 are closing in on this bottom side of the map. Deft, Vista's going to have to cancel the back because he doesn't want to leave Deft alone, as the rake's going to be avoided this time. Deft is going to flash, get himself out of the way. Not a lot of summoner spells left remaining, and first blood.
Realistic to expect. And T1 are already on the case.
Well, Rift Herald comes down. Faker taking a bit of damage here.
That Rift Herald placement.
Yeah, that's an odd. It's definitely not the optimal placement there. As Canna's looking for the solo kill onto Chovy. Chains are going to connect those. There's the hyper proc, and Canna flashes, gets the distortion. Man, that was so close to Chovy just being destroyed by the top laner that's having the game, the day of his life right now.
I think we're in for a good one.
Yeah, I think this is a world's winning T1 performance right now. However, that is getting way ahead of ourselves because this series isn't even over yet. And Shirley is now getting taken down. T1, let's see whether they can win this battle. Gravitum comes on out. Chains of Corruption are going to be the answer, so that means Hanwha should be able to get Shirley, but the Moonlight Vigil comes down. That's stolen away though. Owner actually diving forward. Faker using his ult to make sure no one can get out. Deft going to be the first victim. That's another one to go down as well, as unfortunately Will is not going to be able to Ragnarok that, and Chovy's still alive. Morgan is his only teammate that's also there, and unfortunately it's not for too much longer. He needs to try and get through both Canna and Faker. Okay, fight's continuing to erupt here. The flash has to come through because the return of the Rake was going to be enough to get rid of Chovy, and he's getting closed in upon. Carrier actually gets it with the edge of the hook. And now
he just presses R, and Gumiyu says it's over. Yeah, we saw that happen too.
Honestly, as disjointed as Hanwha Life has looked, I think there have been moments during group stage where they looked a bit more coherent. There have been moments where they looked a little bit more like this.
Oh man, that was actually a beautiful passage of play from Chovy, but he's just by himself. And
it's a metaphor, right, for like the current state of Hanwha Life.
For Willer, this is probably going to be one of the biggest learning experiences he'll ever have of his whole career. As Hanwha Life Esports don't have any vision on the Baron. They know what's being done, though. They're going to go through this choke point.
Yeah, some scary guns on Gumiyu as well as the ult comes forward from Vista, trying to start this one off in their favor. It's not the steal, and it's just a dead Willer to start this one off. But at least Morgan dives on forward, takes out Faker, tries to drive by, but it's not going to work. Deft now going to be the focus. It's Gumiyu. That's so many chakrams. He is terrifying on this Aphelios. Vista going to get taken down, and now Owner parkours his way into this top lane. Deft a sitting duck right now. And it's the double kill to come through from the T1 jungler. And that, I think, was the last gasp from Hanwha Life Esports, and unfortunately it was not very loud.
For Hanwha Life Esports, we're going to watch the same fight happen again. Maybe this time the miracle can occur, because I mean, you are praying for a miracle if you're a Hanwha Life Esports fan. Tournament life on the line here.
I don't know, man. Even a miracle may not be enough here as Hanwha. They don't even get towards the pit. The Baron is secured. Willer now down extraordinarily low. It says he's unstoppable, but it's looking pretty stoppable right now. It's Gumiyushi's dominating as he takes down the jungler. Hanwha now running for the hills as quickly as possible. Decent disengage ult from Vista as Chovy dives into the back line. Gets exhausted though straight away. Morgan with the dominance gets on top of Gumiyushi, but there's so much peel, and he is going to be okay. Lantern thrown out for Faker as Chovy flashes himself out of the way. Morgan doing the same thing as Owner goes golden. Vista and Deft still alive for the moment. But the Talon has found Varus, and yes, the base is being absolutely destroyed. Chovy now on the wrong side, and this is going to be the ace almost, as Morgan the only one left remaining. But Nexus turrets aren't going to be here, and T1, they are just looking to end this game right here and put Hanwha Life Esports out of their misery. Canna was staying there for quite some time, but honestly, he probably can, as the rest of T1 are going to turn up.
This game would have already been over if Faker was actually able to finish his teleport. He was teleporting to the bot side wave, but Chovy interrupted him. It doesn't even matter though.
It's heroic, but it's not going to matter. T1 will 3-0 Hanwha Life Esports. They wanted to do this in the World's Gauntlet. Thankfully, they got a second try, and damn, second time was the charm.
T1 advanced to the semifinals in the most dominant fashion, I think, an international competition of League of Legends could even imagine.
Dracos, I'm very happy to be joined here by Faker after T1 wins their quarterfinal over Hanwha Life. Now, it was an incredibly impressive performance from the side of T1. So I have to ask, it looks like T1 has just improved day after day here at the World Championship. How do you reflect on the growth of the team so far?
네, 우선 승리 너무 축하드립니다. 정말 인상 깊고 압도적인 그런 경기력을 선보여 주셨는데요. 이번 월즈에 오신 후로 매일같이 계속 발전하는 진보적인 모습을 보여주고 계십니다. 지금 팀의 성장에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시나요?
일단은 저희는 항상 상대팀을 보고 배우고 있고 그리고 또 이제 선수들이 노력도 굉장히 많이 하기 때문에 좋은 결과가 갈수록 많이 생겨나는 것 같습니다.
First off, we always focus on our opponent. We try to learn from them, and also all the individual players are doing their best to improve. So we were able to make such a great growth.
It was really impressive, and I have to say, Worlds really isn't the same if you and T1 aren't there. So I have to ask, in terms of yourself as a player, how different is the Faker of this year, of 2021, now that you unfortunately missed last year and we get to see you, it looks like, in a top performance so far?
네, 우선 항상 월즈에 페이커 선수나 T1이 없으면 이제 원래 알던 월즈 같지 않은 그런 느낌이 있습니다. 그런 만큼 이번에 페이커 선수 함께 할 수 있어서 너무 좋은데요. 그러면 지금 경기력이 정말 최상급의 경기력이 나오고 있는 것 같은데 지난번 월즈 참여했을 때랑 비교했을 때 어떤가요?
일단 올해 같은 경우에는 선수들도 굉장히 패기가 있고 그리고 경기 플레이 스타일 자체도 많이 바뀌었기 때문에 이전 경기들과 좀 이전 월즈들과 다르게 조금 더 재밌는 경기를 보실 수 있을 거라고 생각하고 있고 그리고 저희도 이제 저 개인적으로도 이제 좀 올해는 정말 열심히 노력해서 우승해야겠다라고 각오를 했기 때문에 더 열심히 하고 있습니다.
So first off, I think we are having a lot of more young spirit in my team, and our play style changed a little bit. So I think it's going to be a lot more interesting, exciting to watch us perform. And me as an individual, I also worked so hard for this Worlds, and I have a very determined mindset for this Worlds. I really want to win, so yeah, I'm doing my best right now.
And we can see it so far for sure. And now let's talk about your next opponent. I hope I don't anger the European fans here, but Damwon are the big favorites to make it to the semifinals. You, of course, have recently played them in the finals in the LCK. With your form right now, how do you think you would match up versus Damwon?
네, 그러면 4강에 대한 예상도 좀 궁금합니다. 아무래도 담원 기아 자체가 좀 승자로 많이 점쳐지는 그런 상황인데 그렇게 되면 이제 결승전 리매치가 될 예정인데요. 지금의 이런 폼과 함께라면 담원과의 리매치 어떻게 예상하시나요?
사실 지난 결승전 때도 굉장히 좀 마인드 컨트롤이 잘 안 됐어가지고 패배를 했다고 저는 생각을 했거든요. 그래서 그런 부분에서 저희가 좀 더 긴장을 안 하고 충분히 잘 마인드 컨트롤 한다면 이길 수 있을 거라고 생각합니다.
I think the biggest problem in the previous finals was actually controlling our mindset, controlling the having the presence of mind. So if we get to be better at it, if we can keep the calm and poised mindset, I think we will be able to perform even better.
Maybe even pick up the rune presence of mind. We'll see indeed. Thank you so much, Faker. It was lovely talking to you. 감사합니다. And thank you for the translation.